Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to an episode of This Just In. Today we're going to be diving into Child's Play 2, the sequel, the higher body count, the movie where they actually figured out what to do with Chucky after the first film, making him kind of half there, half not. This movie goes a little bit more above and beyond than the first movie. More kills, more fun, more Chucky one-liners. Overall, just a fun movie. Going through the plot real quick this time, they fix up the Chucky doll, and right off the bat, he electrocutes somebody while they're trying to put new eyes in him. Shoots him about 10 feet back, and he smashes through a window. Chucky's going to be going with a foster family this time. His mom's in the hospital because she wants to tell her son's story, and nobody will back it up. Not even the cops that were there. Just when you thought Detective Norris was a good guy. He's no Chucky, that's for sure. The executive at the good guy plant then takes a new Chucky doll with him, puts it in his vehicle, and he ends up stopping to get some liquor. Gotta get vodka, because that girlfriend of his for 3 weeks knows what it does to her. So he needs to know what it does to her, too. During this time, Chucky calls to find out where Andy is. Chucky then sends this guy on a fun little ride. He holds a gun to his head, gets him to finally stop, ties his hand behind his back, shoots him in the face. It's a water gun. They both have a good laugh, and then Chucky smothers him to death with a bag. So far, so good. We got 2 kills faster than I believe we had 1 in the first movie. After this, Chucky finds out that he knows where Andy is, so he goes over to Andy's new house where they have a good guy doll named Tommy. He beats the crap out of Tommy and buries him. He then takes over Tommy's spot in the family. He'll be there till the end. Heidi-ho. Chucky smashes in the doll's face with an heirloom from the mother. The mother is very upset the next day. Nobody will fess up to it, so they're grounded. So they're doing laundry. While they're doing laundry, Andy gets to smoke his first cigarette. 7 years old. He's already getting addicted to bad things. He's been around killings. Now he's around smoking. He's going to turn into a bad, bad individual at this rate. He ends up going to check on Tommy. And then you get the very, 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 very comical scene where he says, "I hate you." And the doll looks at him and goes, "Hi, I'm Tommy. And I'm your friend till the end. Heidi-ho. Ha ha ha." So then he flips the doll over and he checks it for batteries. There's batteries in it, so they're good. We're good. He's meant to be my friend. Later on that night, he's sleeping, and Chucky ties him to the bed. Both arms, both legs, socks in the mouth. Starts doing the chant, but Kyle comes in the room and disrupts it. Kyle's his foster sister, who then was sneaking out, so she's in trouble. With all the commotion, Phil hears it, the stepfather, comes in, and he ends up telling him Chucky's not real. This is Tommy. And he throws him down the cellar stairs. The next day, Chucky hops a ride on the bus to school. He messes with Andy's paper, writes, "Fuck you, bitch." Mrs. Kettlewell is not impressed, holds Andy after class. Andy ends up sneaking out when she leaves the room, and when she comes back, she thinks he's in the closet. She goes over to the closet, and when she goes in, she can't find him anywhere. And Chucky pops out and stabs her in the chest with a air pump. Pumps that chest full of air. Explodes. Nah, they don't go that bad. But he beats her with a ruler over and over and over again. And as the shot backs away, you get to still see his arm swinging that yardstick the whole time. It's very neat. When Andy gets home, he swears Chucky's trying to kill him, and Phil shows him Tommy's downstairs. Not Chucky, that's Tommy. And Tommy is downstairs. Chucky's downstairs. How do you make it from the school back to that house and in the basement with nobody seeing him and faster than Andy ran home from school? I don't know. Those little legs were kicking. That night, Andy goes down with an electric knife, wants to kill Chucky himself. Well, that doesn't happen. Chucky gets the upper hand for a little bit. Then Phil comes down. Chucky goes around and gets a hook, grabs Phil's leg, holds him upside down, and asks him, "Phil, how's it hanging?" Drops him on his neck, and he dies. The mother is now so upset, she ends up calling social services, sending Andy right back to that orphanage. Kyle ends up going outside to smoke, and she's kicking her feet around, pulls it up. There's Tommy, the destroyed good guy doll. So now she knows Andy's not full of shit. Imagine that. This kid has to do everything to get people to believe him. Maybe in the next movie, if he's 8, they'll take his word for it. Spoiler alert, he's a little bit older than 8. She goes inside and finds the mom. I believe her name is Joanne. They don't use it a whole lot, and she's not a very pivotal character in this movie. Finds her dead. She's killed off screen. Very, very lackluster. Chucky ends up attacking Kyle. They end up going back and forth a little bit, and Chucky ends up getting a knife to her neck and making her drive. On the way to go see Andy, she gets pulled over by a cop. And the cop's like, "Oh, it's all those good guy dolls. I like those. Those are cute. What's your name?" And he goes, "Chucky." And he laughs, and blood pours out of his nose. The cop goes, "What's that?" And she goes, "Seen dolls that pee? This one bleeds." He lets her off on a warning. So then she drives really, really fast, and he slams on the brakes and sends Chucky through the windshield. I don't know if you've played with a windshield, but they're not that easy to go through, and I don't believe a light doll would, but hey, movie magic. When he gets up, he jumps on the hood of the car, and she goes driving fast with him on the hood of the car and smashes into a pole. So he goes flying. Then she smashes into the fence that he's standing up against, but he moves out of the way. And she gets out, and she's looking around, and he puts a knife to her neck. Makes her go where Andy is, which, ironically, when she goes back to get into the car to follow somebody, it's literally like 10 feet. But beyond that, they go inside and she pulls the fire alarm. The lady in charge at the orphanage is pissed, pulls her, Andy, both in there with Chucky. Chucky ends up stabbing the lady in the chest. They end up leaving there. Andy and Chucky go in the back of a newspaper truck. Kyle gets behind him in the car, chasing him down, ends up running the truck off the road a little bit, and then looks in the back, and there's no Chucky, there's no Andy, but she sees him running into the good guy factory. This is where the movie gets to the best part, the third act. So they're running inside this good guy factory, and Chucky hits Andy in the back of the head, and he starts the chant, and you see the storm clouds rolling in, and the storm clouds are rolling, and then when he says the final words of the chant, the storm clouds start to go away. And you see Chucky, you see Andy, then Chucky holds his hand out and you see blood dripping. At that moment, Chucky realizes it's too late. He's been in that doll's body for way too long. Now he's trapped forever. So Chucky goes batshit crazy in this scene. He ends up getting some boxes dropped on him, and they go taking off and running away. They eventually go up. It's like a chute that shoots down dolls. And they're climbing up it, and Chucky's chasing after them, and Kyle drops it on his hand. So his little hand's sticking through there with a knife. And he ends up ripping his own hand off. And because he's turning human, there's all this blood and spraying and everything else. He ends up taking the handle off of that knife and shoving his arm into it and wrapping his arm up. So now he's got a knife for an arm. They leave that spot, and eventually they try going through one area where they see an exit sign, and it ends up being a locked door, but they make the dolls malfunction so they can't get their eyes put in. A worker goes down to get that fixed, and while he's under there and he gets the machine back up and running, when he sits up, Chucky slices him across the face, and when he drops down, that machine goes down and goes and pops the eyes into his head. Very, very cool scene. It's not very bloody gory, but it's just iconic seeing those doll eyes just sticking out of a guy's head. Chucky goes to find Andy and Kyle, and throughout this whole thing, they can see dolls where they're getting their hair put on, and they're getting legs and stuff put into them and all that good stuff. Chucky pulls a fast one while he's standing on this platform, and Kyle tells him to duck. And when he swings, he misses, and he gets knocked over, and the machine that puts the hair on the doll's head starts stapling the hair to his legs, like in his crotch area. So he's stuck to the thing, and the machine's going backwards, so then it shoves him back up into the machine, like it's a closed-off bin where they're going to shove arms and legs in, and they shove arms and legs in, non-stop. Just continue. And when it finally comes down, you just see this big pile of arms, legs, blood, and everything else. And they assume Chucky's got to be dead. You end up seeing a pile of blood leading somewhere. And all of a sudden, the guy that he stabbed the eyes through goes coming through swinging and knocks Kyle out and drops her on the conveyor belt. And she's going up. You can see Chucky wheeling over to get Andy, and he had cut off his legs. And he's telling Andy he's going to cut off his legs. Chucky then tries to stab him, gets caught in the radiator. Andy turns on the hot plastic, and it sprays him all over and melts him down. He goes up and he saves Kyle. Hooray! It's finally over. Kyle goes over to see what happened to Chucky because she's like, wow, what'd you do to him? And he bursts up, rah, jump scare. And plus, you know, Chucky, you can't keep a good guy down. Down? You can't keep him down. You gotta keep coming. Look at the first movie. It took like 4 times. So this one, they grab this like sparking hose and they shove it in his mouth. And for some reason, it's like air hose or water hose. I don't know. It just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding his head. It gets real huge. And it explodes. Blood and guts go flying everywhere. Which is ironic, because this movie had more kills, but the most blood in the entire movie all went to Chucky yet again. ripping his arm off, and everything else. So that's the end credits for this film. But like I was saying, the most blood in the movie went to Chucky. His arm gets ripped off, you see blood squirting and everything else. He gets all these body parts shoved into his thing, you see a bloody thing come down. You see the blood trail leading to where he is. He gets melted down, they end up making his head explode, and there's blood and guts everywhere. Overall, Child's Play 2 is a very, very good movie. It's better than the first one. You get a lot of good Chucky one-liners. You get him saying some things. Miss Kettle, you've been naughty. He's a little bit more aggressive in the end. In the third act, it just goes batshit crazy and just becomes more fun. More fun to see unhinged Chucky doll chasing after people trying to kill him and not giving a shit if he gets inside that kid's body. Doesn't care. He's just ready to kill. He goes through a lot of torture and pain. For some reason, Don Mancini, when he's writing these movies, he makes sure Chucky gets fucked up. Big time. He doesn't give it to that guy very easy. Brad Dourif returns, plays the voice of Chucky in this one. And as you'll see, Brad Dourif plays the voice of Chucky in every single Child's Play movie except for the remake and for the Chucky series. Andy and Kyle, they don't know where their home is. They say it at the end, time to go home, but we don't know where that is. Overall, this movie, I would say probably about 4.75 out of 5 for me. This one's my favorite. Every time I'm in the mood to watch Chucky, I always put in Child's Play 2. Occasionally, I'll put in some of the other films, but Child's Play 2 is by far my favorite. Up to kill count, I believe in this movie there's 7 or 8 kills. It's like an hour and 27 minutes. So it's quick, it's fast, it's fun, it's got blood, gore, kills, humor, everything you want from a Chucky movie. For the next film, we're going to be covering Child's Play 3, the movie that was made a year later, but Andy aged big time. Guess they needed to really cash in on that dough at Universal. Hit the like button, make sure you subscribe if you're not already a member, leave some comments down below, and until we get to the next one, rest in peace.